we're not going to use all of this, we're going to use 3/4 of it.
Okay.
And this is... It doesn't say how heavy it is, but we're going to use 3/4 of it. And then we also have this. You start cooking this first. The dish I have is huge, so... Okay, got a wooden spoon, chop it up fine. And this is spicy Italian sausage. So I like the lasagna spicy, so I add this to it. And while you're cooking the meat, you have to start cutting the onion. Any onion, red or white. And throw it in with the meat. So that's 2 small onions or 1 large onion. It doesn't matter. Italian seasoning. It's just any generic Italian seasoning. Yeah, and we'll add 1/3 of a cup to start. And if we have to, we can add more later. We'll add chili powder. And this is however much you want. I usually add 1, maybe more. Chili powder and then 1 more spice. This is really hot, it's cayenne pepper. And I'll add a little bit of this. When the meat is finished cooking, you'll add the tomatoes. And we've got 1 can tomato paste, 1 can diced tomatoes, another can of diced tomatoes, and then 1 can of crushed tomatoes. I like to cut the peppers really small. And we'll put 6 peppers in. Minimum 6. You can put in more if you want. Right now the beef is cooked. Now you add all the tomatoes. Turn it up because it's going to get cold. Add everything. Well, you have to stir it so it doesn't burn. So I'm just looking at it and you can see there's not enough tomatoes in there. It's not saucy enough. Okay, so now that this is ready, I'm going to add all the peppers. Now this is 6 peppers. And they're chopped really small. Okay, let me mix that up. So you gotta let this cook. And you have to keep stirring it because there's so much material in here that it'll burn. It won't cook. So you have to like stir it every couple minutes. You gotta stir it, and then it doesn't matter if the peppers are totally cooked because we're gonna bake it, and when we bake it, it's gonna cook everything. So when you get to this point, you've added everything. You want to taste it, and you want to make sure it tastes good before you put it into the lasagna. So if you need more spices, now is the time to add. You guys came over, I burned the bottom, and the whole bottom of this pan was burned, so I had to leave it on the bottom and scoop everything off the top. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit extra spicy. I'm gonna add some more cayenne. You don't need much though. And we'll mix it up, and then we'll we'll put it into the lasagna pan next. So turn on the oven, go to 400. This oven gets a little bit hotter, so when I put it at 350, it's actually at 400. When you're making this, you want to make like your favorite pasta sauce. You can make it any way you want. You can add whatever spices you want, but basically you want to make it so it tastes good to you. And this is just my version. You can make any other kind of version, but make sure that the pasta sauce just tastes good. That's all that matters. It's almost 16 inches long, and it's almost 12 inches wide, and it's 3 inches deep. So these are the noodles that we're going to use. They're hard. You just put them in, and you have to layer this properly. So you always put a layer on the bottom first. More sauce. Lots of spinach. And then just throw some sauce on top. You don't need much on top. Okay, so on this layer now we put on the cheese, and this is dry curd cottage cheese. Sprinkle it on. Okay, and then more sauce. We're a little short on noodles, so we're going to spread them out a little bit more. Because this is the last level. Now, with these noodles, you have to cover them in sauce, otherwise they won't cook properly. So you have to put a thin layer on top, and then you can put the cheese on top of that. If you forget to put sauce on the top, the noodles will be like too hard, and they're not nice to eat. The top layer. So we made that mistake once. And then all we'll do is it's going to take 10 minutes to grate the cheese, and we'll cover it in cheese, and then we'll bake it for 45 minutes at 350 or 400, somewhere in there. Okay, and we're done. And then just chuck it in the oven. And it's roughly 45 minutes for a lasagna this size, but it could be less or it could be more depending on what you got.
45 minutes.
Roughly 45 minutes. I don't cover it or anything, just throw it in and start the timer. Done. You want the corner?
Yep.
No, I want
No, you want that corner.
Fight for it.
The corner is the best.
We can share.